Okay, so I'm going to make a video on using this Deoxit D5. I'm having problems with my computer on my car, and I actually bought this car over 2 years ago with electrical issues, and the previous owner had actually spent several thousands of dollars in the shop. He had all the paperwork. They never could figure it out. With the problem that I was having when I purchased the car was it would randomly stall, and when it would stall it would randomly not start. Sometimes it would start right back up. Sometimes you could go out to your car and when it's in the driveway and it just wouldn't start. Sometimes it would. I mean, it was just, and I found out that it was a bad connection to the computer. If you jiggled the wire, it would actually correct the issue and it would work again. And having issues with my fuel sensor. It keeps sometimes it's full, sometimes it's empty, sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's probably showing a reading that's not accurate. And that's how many miles that's how many miles I have since I filled up, so it should not be completely full, it shouldn't be empty. And I have a couple codes here as well. So I'll get to the electrical connectors and I'll show you. And I'll clean them out with this and then use dielectric grease to prevent water and so it doesn't rust and stuff like that. It's supposed to, let's see, this is actually designed for electronics, like I bought it at Radio Shack, but protects the surfaces, improves connections, dissolves corrosion. That's the part that I think I need this the most for, because I think there's rust or something in there that's causing it to have a bad connection. And back here I have the D5. And back here you can see the different ones. So I don't really need quick dry. Solvents aren't really an issue. So the D5 actually works the best because it provides a flushing action, which is what I need since it's in a very small plastic container case. These here are the connectors I was talking about. When I first purchased the vehicle, if I barely moved this one, if the car was running, if I just went like this to it, just like that, it would die. And sometimes not start back up, sometimes start right back up. I used some contact cleaner made by CRC, which is common, you can get it at any parts store, but that's been a little while and it's not really working as good as it should be now. I'm having the problems that I described earlier. So I picked this stuff up from Radio Shack. I already showed it to you guys a little bit, but the biggest reason I got this is it dissolves corrosion. Very important. I already disconnected my battery, just so you guys know. I don't have HDR settings because I am on 4K. But if you look, that third pin from the left side on the second row, right in there, has corrosion on it. If you look at the connector, that's going to be the third from the left on the bottom row, because I'm holding it upside down, actually. Middle row. There is no pin there. You can see that there's no pin in there, so it's not that big of an issue. Let's look on this one. Okay, so I see some corrosion on this second one from the bottom right here in this corner, and a little bit on the one next to it. I see some corrosion in here as well, and those two, some on that one right there. So I'm going to try cleaning it with the cleaner that I purchased. And I have dielectric grease that I'm going to use afterwards. So let's get started. So the directions say to turn off the equipment, in this case my car, and make sure that the battery cables are disconnected. I would also suggest touching the battery cables together to help discharge the system so that any energy stored in the computer and whatnot can be discharged. And you need to, apparently it says, adjust valve to low, medium, or high. I don't see a valve on the can, but I'm going to worry about that later, if at all. Apply a short burst of deoxit onto the metal surface and operate the part or device to help break up oxides. Wait a few seconds and reapply one short burst and wait 2 minutes before turning on equipment, and that's just to prevent short circuiting. Opening up this $18 cleaner, no going back after I open it, no returning it. Because it has this straw, I can put it right up to the connector and spray it into the little connector pins. When it says operate part or device, it just means, in this situation, plug it in, unplug it, plug it in, unplug it, to help break apart all the rust and corrosion. Now I'm going to reapply. I'm going to turn my air compressor on and blow it out with compressed air just for good habit. Instead of using the air compressor right now, I'm going to actually do the second one, and then and before blowing both of them out, I'm going to go ahead and since this is going to be sitting for a little while, I'll just spray it one more time just cuz. This is kind of oily, so if you care, it's probably going to see how it's leaving spots. Actually, I don't know if I'm in that area. Yeah, you can see that. It's going to leave spots on plastic, like especially up here. If you're concerned about that, be careful with it or wash it off with some kind of degreaser right away. This connector is plugging in and unplugging a little bit smoother than it was before. If you want it to dry fast afterwards, Deoxit suggests that you use their Deoxit Gold, which actually, when I looked at the back earlier, that was also the DN5 quick dry, but I think they actually in the directions suggested using some Deoxit Gold. Follow with Deoxit Gold on critical never mind, but they have fast drying ones anyway. So I'm going to get my air compressor and then I'm going to blow it out and then clean it one more time. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get my air compressor, blow everything out, and then blow it out again. And the reason I'm blowing it out is because it collects liquid in there. And we don't want that. and I'm gonna do it one more time just to get it all off. But I could show you. I don't see any more corrosion. Actually, I think there's some on that top left pin up there. I think there is. Yeah, I think there might be some on that second pin. Oh, I can't really tell. Let's look at this side. Looks pretty clean. And kind of hard to see in the connectors, but I'm just going to do it one more time just for some protection. I don't know if you guys can hear my music, but these are license-free songs. I like listening to music when I work on stuff, but I can't really because YouTube gets mad. For good reason, I guess. I just get mad when I get screwed over when you can't even hear the song, don't know what song it is, and they claim that there's a song there when it's like a quarter, 1 second, like 3/4 of a second. So I don't know if you guys can hear it that well. I think it's kind of loud. Go ahead and plug them in and unplug them again. The reason I slide this clip all the way down is because the connector doesn't go on all the way unless you slide this over. It actually pulls it to the... Why is it not working? There we go. Just note that this can wear out the connector. It can separate the pins, not the pins, but the connections that go over the pins, because they're actually, it's just a round hole that is kind of crimped in a way where when it slides over it's snug, and you can be loosening it up by doing this. But I figure I'm on the verge of needing new connectors anyway, so if this doesn't work, I'm going to end up having to get a new wire harness, but I was going to try. I have some dielectric grease here. It says prevents voltage loss, protects against corrosion, and eases installation and extends bulb life. Technically it's bulb grease. I was trying to hide that, but it's gonna do the same thing. Do not put it on the actual electrical contacts. That's not how you use it. You put it around the edge of the connector, and it prevents water from getting in, and it prevents corrosion and rust. If you look, I do have it on the inside of the female part of the connector, but my camera with focus, I have only put it up to, there's 2 notches in here. There's a first ridge, which you kind of can't see because the grease is touching it. There's a second ridge. I didn't put it past that because the pins are below that ridge. If you look, the pins only stick out as far as that last ridge. So I only put it up to the first one, and that's where the actual connectors seat. So I'm gonna actually put some on this connector as well. I'm gonna use a rivet to put grease on the inside of this connector around. I just dropped my rivet. I have another rivet. I'm just gonna use it to put some dielectric grease around this rubber seal, and I'm gonna push it down so it's not overflowing to the plastic to get into these pins, because I'm kind of like this. this rubber seal will get pushed down as it connects. But as you can see, it's not actually on the electrical contacts. It's only on this edge over here. I get a lot of comments on YouTube, and most of them are positive. But I do get some people that I don't know if they like to troll or what. In certain situations when I could have done something better or I know I did it wrong, I understand that they're probably right. I got a comment when I used my gunk degreaser because people said that it's going to cause rust on my engine now. Because if you get rid of oil, oil prevents rust, and then by cleaning it with degreaser, you get rid of the oil that prevents the rust. Well, in my oil change video, I spilled a little bit of oil on the top of my engine, and I got crap for that because they thought my thought process was I was too cool to use a funnel. Well, my reply to them was I was preventing rust. Let's start it up and take it for a test drive and see how it works. Hopefully it still starts. Well, the check engine light didn't come on instantly, and my fuel seems to be mostly accurate. I mean, I filled it up and drove 66 miles, and it's still above 3/4 tank, but it's less than completely full. Brake light's on because my end brake is on since I drive a stick. Now it's off. And that light is for my seatbelt. Alright, put my seatbelt on. Goes away. Let's take it around the block, make sure it works. I left the garage open. I didn't expect to make the detour that I made. I thought I was just going to go around that quarter block. I'm going to jiggle the wires that go to the connector while the car is running, and you can see what the dash looks like while it's doing all that. So I'm pretty confident that I fixed it, at least temporarily. Maybe I'll put updates in the description, maybe every few months or whatever, saying it's been this long, it's still working. Hopefully the dielectric grease will prevent any corrosion or oxidation in there in the future that's causing my issues, but I'm pretty confident that the oxidation was the issue. It can be caused by moisture on the electrical connection, and it can be caused by a bad connection, so you need to know which one it is. I'm just hoping that it just works now. I hope you guys enjoyed the 4K video. This is my first, well, technically second I recorded, probably the first one that's going to be uploaded to YouTube. My camera literally has 3% battery, so I'm going to end the video now.